Hello students, today we are going to start the next chapter, that is Reproduction in Humans, Class 8. If you have seen my previous videos, you know about reproduction in plants, where we understood the difference between sexual and asexual reproduction. Quickly I will recap you the information told there, that asexual reproduction does not involve two parents. It happens only with a single parent. But when we talk about sexual reproduction, it needs the involvement of two parents, that is the male and the female, or the two organisms are needed, that is one is a male and the other one is the female. So let us first understand sexual reproduction, and then we will go into detail of understanding the human male reproductive system and the human female reproductive system. If I say that sexual reproduction involves two organisms, and one of them is the male and the other one is the female, so I am categorizing the male and the female organism and what are the main sex cells produced by them. Now the male cell has testes and the female reproductive system consists of the ovaries. These both are the gonads. Gonads are nothing but the main reproductive organs of the male is the testes and the female is the ovaries. They produce the cells, the sex cells. What we call sperm is being produced by the male sex cell, and the female ovaries produce the ovum. And the fusion of both of them will lead to the formation of zygote, which is a single cell, which will further divide and redivide to form the embryo and then the fetus. So you need to understand that in sexual reproduction, the male and the female sex cells, or the gametes, what we are calling the sperm and the ovum, they are fusing together. And as we need the male and the female organism, this is coming under the example of sexual reproduction. When the fusion of the sperm and the ovum will take place, we will call this process as fertilization. The fusion of the sperm and the ovum is called fertilization. Now, what is formed as a result of this? Zygote, which is generally a single cell. And then it will divide and redivide to form the embryo, and then after a multiple number of stages, it will form the fetus. You need to remember that there are two types of fertilization. Now, fertilization can be external or it can be internal. From the name itself, you can understand that external fertilization is happening outside the female body. Generally in fishes and some aquatic habitats like fishes, frogs, etc., they have external fertilization. Means the female lays the egg outside her body and the male puts his sperms over it, and the fusion is taking place outside the body. So when it is outside the body of outside the female body, then we call such a fertilization as the external fertilization. And when it is inside the female body, we call it the internal fertilization. The human beings are producing internally. Internal fertilization is happening. So mostly in mammals, birds, cats, dogs, reptiles, the fusion is taking place inside the body of the female, and thus it is called the internal fertilization. So just I will recap quickly what is the process in sexual reproduction. Humans are producing by sexual reproduction. We need a male and a female, and the male gonads, or the reproductive organ of the males, is the testes, the main one, which is producing the sperm, and the female ovaries are producing the ovum, which are fusing to form a single cell called the zygote, which will then develop inside the body of the female. Now let us go to understand the male reproductive system. Here you can see the male reproductive system. This is the diagrammatic view of the organs of the male reproductive system. You can see there are some parts labeled here for you, which is needed for you in class 8. Now the main parts consist of the pair of testes. Here one testis is shown. It is a side view. The sperm ducts, or also called the vas deferens, the urethra, the penis, and the accessory glands. These two glands are there, which has been marked in the diagram: seminal vesicle and prostate gland. Now the male gametes, as you know, are called the sperms, and they are being produced by a special organ, reproductive organ in the males, called the testis. Singular is TIS, and when it is plural we tell it TES, testes. And then they are located outside the abdomen in a sac-like structure called the scrotum, or the scrotal sac. Now the sperms which travel through the sperm ducts, as you can see, this is the sperm duct. So here the production will happen, and they will travel through this to this part, that is the penis. And as it is moving, the sperm, as it will move through this part and through the urethra, which is also, the urethra is also a tube which is passing the urine. And as the sperm is passing through the sperm duct, or the vas deferens, what is happening is the secretions. There are certain secretions from the prostate gland and the seminal vesicle glands, which has been poured into the sperm. And the sperm, along with that secretion from the accessory glands, the mixture together is called the semen. I will repeat: the mixture of the sperms and the secretion from the accessory glands together is called the semen. And the male reproductive part is the penis, and here this organ is doing two functions. It is an organ for the discharge of urine, also for the discharge of sperms into the female body. So I will like to repeat the points. You can see the main part of the male reproductive system is a pair of testes, the sperm ducts or the vas deferens, the urethra, penis, and the accessory glands, which is the seminal vesicle and the prostate gland. Also you can see I have labeled one epididymis, which is a part of the male reproductive system. This part over this, your scrotum, inside the scrotum lies the testis with the epididymis here, which is collecting and transferring the sperms through the sperm duct into the penis. Then we will go to understand the female reproductive system. Here you can see the female reproductive system, which consists of the main organs, the ovaries, which are generally almond-shaped oval glands situated in the pelvic region or the hip region, and the fallopian tubes. These tube-like structures is known as fallopian tubes, and or the oviducts also, and the uterus. These are the main organs of the reproductive system in female. So as I told you in the beginning that the ovaries are responsible for producing the ovum or the egg. The mature egg will move through this tube, that is a fallopian tube, and it is in this region, the fallopian tube, it is in the fallopian tube that the actual fertilization will happen. That is, a sperm generally enters here, and if it fuses with the egg, and in this particular region, the fallopian tube region, the fertilization will happen, and then the zygote, as I had told, that will come and get implanted somewhere in the uterus. This region is the uterus. The uterus lies in the lower abdomen, behind and above the urinary bladder. The uterus is a hollow, as you can see, and muscular pear-shaped organ, and it is where the zygote develops into a baby. So it will fix here, and then it will slowly divide and redivide and form the baby. And the lower part of this is the cervix, this narrow part, and then there is the cervix is narrow and it opens outside through the muscular tube like structure called the vagina, and in the vagina the sperms are received, and it is also acting as a birth canal through which the baby is delivered. So again, I would like to repeat, most important female parts are consisting of a pair of ovaries, the fallopian tubes also called the oviduct, where the fertilization takes place, and the uterus, and vagina is the place which receives the sperm, and cervix is this narrow region. In this diagram you can see I have drawn an individual sperm and ovum for you. So first let us understand the parts of the sperm. By now you understood that the sperm is given by the testes, and it is the female containing the male gamete. Sperm contains the male gamete. This is the acrosome inside the sperm, and this region with the acrosome in the nucleus forms the head of the sperm. There is a centriole, and there is a mitochondria, and there is a flagella, which is the part of the tail, and so it is able to move in, and as I had shown you, the female part go up into through the uterus. And to understand ovum, the female gamete consisting of multiple layers. So this main one in the center is the nucleus. Then you have the cytoplasm here. Then there is a transparent layer called the zona pellucida, and then there are multiple layers formed by the cells called the corona radiata. So you can see a ovum with the four parts: zona pellucida, nucleus, corona radiata, and cytoplasm. You need to learn these diagrams as they are very important. I am very sure now you might be able to understand the different parts of the male and the female reproductive system, and you will be able to answer simple questions related to it. Thank you for watching.